Hi, it's your host, Shelly-Ann Curran. And this week, let's talk about health.
Let's talk about it. Our voices are strong. Let's talk about it. Together we belong. With Shelly-Ann Curran, the truth carries on. Let's talk about it. The nation's strong.
So we are here with Dr. Dawes. Dr. Dawes, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
It still feels a little bit surreal. It has been a long campaign, and the truth is that now you're sitting in Parliament, something that you always see on TV as a kid growing up.
Yes.
Like, whoa, I'm actually here. It's humbling.
Yes.
Quite humbling.
I have to ask, you said humbling. What is your spirituality? What is your religion? Or where do you fall? Or do you mind sharing that?
Okay. Well, I don't mind. I consider myself to be more spiritual than religious. As to where I am now, I grew up in a United Brethren church. And then when I moved to Kingston, my grandfather was actually a deacon in the Anglican church. So I used to go to church with them. Adult life, you kind of fell out of the routine. But believe it or not, it's politics that drew me closer to God.
And I want to know that.
Yeah, because one, a good way to meet people is to go to church, and so a politician would always go to church. But then I started to reconnect with my spiritual side, and I just always felt like there was a different message for me each time, either to give or to receive. And so I started to look forward to the services. But going back to my spirituality, I've always kind of felt led by God in a lot of my decisions. And I'm not a perfect person.
No one is.
I'm not a practicing Christian, but I do try to live a morally upright life as much as possible. And, we still have our indiscretions. But I've gone through the whole spiritual journeys. I've been to Buddhist temples in Myanmar, Burma, spoken with Buddhist priests. I've been to the Ganges, Varanasi in India, and I've spoken to a lot of Hindu priests. There I've studied major religions as one of my hobbies. Been to the Wailing Wall, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, and all of these were spiritual experiences for me. It's funny, you're the first person who has ever asked me in all my interviews about this. But yeah, I have looked at God's relationship with man, my own personal relationship with him. And I've looked at different philosophies, and I kind of come up with my own interpretation of how one ought to live their life based on neuroscience and or religious teaching. So if you speak to any psychologist, they'll tell you that you have the primitive part of the brain, the id, if you're going with psychoanalytic therapy, theories like Sigmund and Freud. The id, the one that wants the carnal pleasures, the food, the sex, and everything. It's just all about pleasure.
Yes.
And then there's the superego. That's the one that is more restrained, the logical thinking brain, the one that's going to say, no, you can't eat everything one time. You can't go after every conquest that you want. It tempers the animal side of you. And we leave it there.
But you have tapped into your higher self.
So the higher self now is going to tell you that there is a third dimension to our being or essence, and that is what you'd call the soul, the moral compass. It's another part of you that it's about connectivity with others, with the universe. And I think that is what a lot of people, whether you're a Hindu, Brahmin, whether you're a monk, practicing Buddhist monk, you're a Christian, getting filled, the shamans, all of us try to get to that enlightenment where that third side of us that is not
Your third eye is open?
not recognized by science.
Would you say your third eye is open?
I'm trying to get it open, but I'll break it down to you how I explain it to people. If you get, say you get some Easter bun, your primitive side, your id, is gonna say eat all of this one time because it's a lot of pleasure.
I want the sugar and everything and the rush.
That sugar
quick
rush with the dopamine. You're addicted to dopamine, but then your superego is going to say no, because then you have to deal with the consequences of diabetes and weight gain and all that. Let's eat some, put some aside and all of that. But both sides, the id and the superego, they are looking out for your interest and your interest only. The third part of you is going to say, no, but we have enough bun, let's share with somebody else. And that is depriving yourself, so it has nothing to do with you. But then the joy you get from sharing and seeing somebody else enjoying something that you have sacrificed, that is a different feeling. It has nothing to do with dopamine, but the self-fulfillment that you get from it, of sharing and helping others, that feeds your soul.
Yes.
And that is what drives my life of service. Feeding that part of it. You still have to feed that part by being kind, being mindful of others, and of course connecting with the spiritual realm, God, through church or whatever your religion is. So a very roundabout way to say that I respect everybody's religions in their own attempt to connect with their higher self and the spiritual being who we call God. And that is why I say I'm more spiritual, because that is why I endeavor to do more than religious. So I won't tell you that my religion is better than yours and so on. If we're both going that moral route to feed that third part of us, then
that's the ego.
That's it. Well, so beyond it, no, science doesn't recognize it at all. You won't find that part of it in our science books. It's all id, ego, superego. The ego balances the id and the superego. But we don't look at that self-sacrificing part that
and I'm the
looks
first
out
person,
for others.
Am I the first person you said to touch?
In an interview, yeah. I've spoken about this at church already. And the reason why I used Easter bun is because it was at an Easter service, at a church in my constituency.
I just wanted to share with my viewers, and he wouldn't know this before, but I already knew you were spiritual. And I knew you were spiritual, and I'm spiritual. I don't go into a church, but I pray and I meditate every day. And I went through a severe, when I said a spiritual awakening, it was not pretty. And I lost a lot of things. So I think I've been to the process, but I don't reach to Jerusalem yet, but I'm going to go, right?
Yeah.
But fast forward, election, pre-election, I'm watching you. And I'm saying, this man follows truth. And therefore, I could see your moral compass in the way you handle or look at the issues of health.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I don't care. I like this doctor. He's my favorite. And it is for, not because you're good looking, because you're good looking, and I hear them say you're the good looking doctor at Portmore, but it's for your moral compass. And I think that if more politicians were ruling with that type of compass in decisions, or hospitals would be of better service to our people. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, why are you going to politics? So politics is dirty. Politics is not dirty. Politics attracts dirty people. And that is why you end up in a situation where there are too many people in politics right now at different levels where it's all about their own self-interest. And I've seen it play out in in remarkable situations where they could have done so much more for people, but then because of their own self-interest, you know, they just they give people crumbs.
Crumbs.
And people, Jamaicans have learned to be satisfied
With crumbs.
With crumbs.
Yes.
And we get dependent on the crumbs and we don't realize that there's
How
a
much
whole
we're
table.
depriving.
There's a whole table above you while you're dealing
Yes.
with the crumbs dropping off. That it's the oligarchs and it's the politicians who are feasting. You know, and every now and again you'll get thrown a bone and we're satisfied with that and we fight for it. The scarce benefits and the spoils. We fight. You know, you see in the comments and on the road how nasty people get in defending their leaders and their party and so on. And the truth is that at a certain level, you don't see that in the politics because of who is up there at that table eating.
Yes. I'm compelled to just tell a story, and it has to do with the hospital and it has to do with election, all in the same breath.
Yeah.
There's a popular TikToker, TJ, I'm not throwing any shade at you, I'm using you as an example. And he was like the week before election, he had to go in the hospital and KPH, and his experience was mortified based off of what he said on live, his own words. Worst experience, him couldn't believe it. I can't believe a Jamaica this. Okay, fast forward, election time. I don't know who to pick, but me I go say green. Why is it that you think people, regular everybody, because it's not him alone, it's a lot of people complaining about the system, but yet they're still choosing the same system that's not looking out for them, by his own words? What is it? And I want to be clear. Is people looking at corruption, are they equating it to the care they're getting it, or they think the money don't affect them if it's not fiscally used properly or people are not held accountable?
It's a complex situation, one that I'm still trying to understand why people would vote against their own self-interest. So politics is it's rooted in our culture like sports day, like our favorite football team. You know, no matter how Arsenal suffers, this is going to be the year. You know, no matter, you know, they're at the top of the table and it's almost coming to a close and then boom, they get knocked off.
Yes.
Next year is going to be there near. I'm sorry for my Arsenal fans, but you know, it's a part of your identity.
Yes.
We are not in a culture where it's like the US, where it's liberal versus conservatism that is shaping our identity. You know, you're conservative, or church and state, you have to be close. Liberals give everybody their rights to do everything. And that is what people identify with. In other countries, it's more racial. You know, Trinidad is deeply divided between the Indian parties and the blacks. And it's the same thing with Guyana as well. But we have just created a PNP and JLP
Sports day.
Big people sports day.
Go.
It. And it's a part of your identity, and no matter what. So you have already made up your mind that this is a party you support. So
no matter what.
You go and search for facts to support it. You know, and it's no matter how intelligent you are, you know, it's a part of your identity. And what they have actually done some studies to show that when you do an MRI of somebody's brain, when you confront them with facts that are counter to what they believe in,
yes,
the same areas light up as if you point a gun at them.
Right.
So they feel threatened.
Yes.
So the same anxiety response. So their thing is to either lash out or find some evidence to dispel what you're doing. And like I said, it doesn't matter how intelligent you are. Once you have locked in to a belief system, no matter what anybody tell you. You're just going to dismiss it, and then you're going to continue along that line. Even as an example, the Supreme Court judges in the US, the Supreme Court is supposed to be the final court where you dispassionately and without any bias look at the case in front of you and then put out a judgment. And right along the line, 100% of the times, the ruling of each, or the decision of each Supreme Court judge in the US is along the lines of which president, whether a Republican president or a Democrat president, appointed them. Always. So you're looking at the same facts.
Right.
And the liberals are going to rule a particular way, the conservatives. And these are the elite of the legal fraternity, and they're supposed to be unbiased. So human beings are inherently biased. You, because of your intelligence and education, you might be able to justify your bias a lot more than somebody who is a primary school dropout. But it doesn't make you less biased. And that's where the whole die-hearted thing comes from.
Yes.
So that's just it.
Just for the health sector, it is no secret that, just by going on TikTok, everybody have a story of some horror. There's no beds. I saw one just yesterday that somebody is waiting down at Cornwall Regional 4 days. I stopped documenting it and I stopped because I realized the stories is just every day.
Yeah, it's non-stop.
If you were to estimate last 9 years, or how long are you in politics? Like 4 years or 2 years? 2.5 years. All right. Well, I even make it easier for you.
It feels like 10 years now. I never had this many gray hairs in February, I can tell you that. Good thing I'm bald.
In the last 2 years, let's make it, because I know the figure might just floor people, but 2 years in wastage. Like, how much money you think if you were the health minister that you could have put towards, like you could...
Oh my. Well, let's look at Cornwall alone. We're gone, like 14 billion in Cornwall already. If you could tell me that I would have $14 billion to spend on health, I would spend $1 billion in every parish. Imagine $1 billion refurbishing a hospital and health centers in each parish, where Jamaica would be today. And we still have another 7 billion at least to spend to take it to completion. And then you have the health centers, the refurbishing, and not to say that we don't need health centers refurbished, but what you've done is to refurbish a lot of health centers and a doctor is coming there 1 day a week. So there's no access
to doctors,
to healthcare overall. I think we have, and the government has successfully convinced people that spending money in health is equivalent to better healthcare and improvements. And they have spoken about the $140 billion that they're putting in health. But the people are not feeling it on the ground, the misery index. So we don't know what level of wastage is there. But I think that money should have been put more into services, the delivery of services. Hire the doctors, hire the nurses, the pharmacists, the physiotherapists, expand the services in the primary care setting, do more screening. You can't talk about being serious about cancer and you have 2 mammograms in the public sector in the entire island, with breast cancer being the number 2 cancer in women and increasing, because it's not just that our rate of breast cancer is increasing, the death rate is increasing because we're not screening. You know, when you find a cancer via a lump, it means it has been there 1.5 years. Versus if you find a cancer on a mammogram, that's early. It's probably precancerous. You cut it out and you're going about your business.
There's no way we can switch you? I'm sorry, but
yeah.
We deserve,
to do.
As a Jamaican, we really do deserve better. And I'm not being political. I am speaking from a place of loving people and hearing the cries. people that cannot get a bed.
Yeah.
Hearing the current minister saying this one hurt. It's the women that lost their babies. It's their
They never went to antenatal clinic on time, and they're not taking care of themselves, so they have the diabetes and all of that. So victim blaming.
I was
PR move.
appalled at that statement. And honestly, this election felt like it was called by the heavens, to be honest. And I felt like it was a lot of Jamaicans' future, really. One thing I'm happy is that you're a member of parliament, so you get to watch a little bit closer on things that is happening on the other side to keep the balance. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe going into this election that it was one of the most important elections in a generation, and coming out of it, I mean, it's hardly celebratory for me. I think the only time I really had joy was when I was doing the motorcade, and I saw the appreciation and the hope and the joy, of my constituents, seeing that I was in. That's when it really started to sink in. But I was extremely disappointed with the results. I just couldn't believe that Jamaicans had the opportunity for change, for real change. And I still believe that Mark Golding would have made an excellent prime minister because of the circumstances around which he was catapulted to the leadership, And I think he has a good heart.
I think so too.
So it was, and I still kind of have some disbelief as to, well, we really did this. And it's just going to be more of the same.
Yes,
but
you are stronger.
We are stronger.
We are 15 more, 14 more.
14 more. It's a consolation. It's a consolation prize. But
it's a consolation prize.
If there is such a thing as a consolation prize in politics.
I'm telling you, this is my second show, and it's not that I don't want to interview the other side, but I just wanted the public to know before I start putting comments in here. I've reached out to about 6 JLP members, and of course, they have told me, no, not in this life, and all of that. So I'm gonna.
Why are people afraid of you so much? When I said that I'm going on Shelly show, everybody's like, "You sure you want to do that?" I was like, "No, it's not the tea time."
No, well, they haven't met this person, so that's okay. And thank you for coming. But even before, I guess I'm always been very straightforward.
Yeah, your questions are probing.
It's probing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you're the first I've ever spoken to about my spiritual side. I was wondering, whoa, that came out of left field.
Yes, but that's as I said. It was a spiritual thing why I was drawn to support you. And I really like what you stand for. I like what Mark stands for. Have you been listed as a shadow minister for the Ministry of Health?
No. And that's the thing. So people have been tagging me and asking me to comment on issues and so on. I would be overstepping if I started to speak as a representative of the PNP on health, because I've not been appointed. I am still an MP. I can comment on issues as a doctor, but I cannot appoint myself or speak as a member of the shadow cabinet because that has not been decided. It would be nice if they would give me something like tourism or so, just throwing that out there.
Tourism? No, we need you.
Little bit easier. It's easier than health.
It's easier, yes. We can all, and I could ask you for, a vacation to, something, and say, come to Jamaica. Nothing is happening here, but don't get sick, right?
That works.
Right. But Mark, hurry up and name it the good doctor on the health, because we need you. And I would be disappointed, to be honest. I'm hoping this will be done because we need the voice. I think doctors like you haven't been celebrated, and I'm not going to probe you to death. I know you're very busy. I wanted to say congratulations for the work that you're doing. I wanted to say thank you for taking all those lawsuits
I haven't been served one. It's just threats. I was threatened with 3 lawsuits, and I have not been served one. My name has been plastered all over the media, front page and newspapers. I had to be, explaining to my son that no.
They couldn't find you?
I'm not going. They know where I live. They served the demand letter.
Yes.
And they just didn't serve me.
That's
I think it was a
interesting.
scare tactic.
Were you scared?
At one point, yes, I was wondering, these guys can bring me to financial ruin, just with a lawsuit that will eventually be thrown out. And I think that is the fear that people try to inculcate in persons who they want to suppress. That it doesn't matter if you're speaking the truth. We'll sue you and you will be tied up in court, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you financially. It's going to cost you time as well as your mental space, stress you out. And I think that is what people are afraid of, why they either back off or they settle out of court. So that is the real threat of a lawsuit. It did cross my mind that was what I was facing. I knew I had my facts. I knew I was speaking the truth. Mm-hmm. And I knew that there was merit to the story.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they would go through with it if they know it. I mean, it would be attacked.
They would, and that's the thing. They would just drag it out.
Yes.
And then frustrate.
You're already married?
Yeah.
Is she a lawyer? Because I could save you. That would have saved you a lot of money, and then you could, because it is a tactic. Because every time you get a lawyer, that's what they want.
That's what they want. So
Yes.
it did cross my mind that maybe I should just back down, but then I just couldn't, because then it would be their story versus mine, and then they would always spin it to say that the drill was a reasonable purchase when we know it was not.
Yes. And how much I know you're not officially on health, but you are our health doctor that we count on. So is there anything that you're seeing now that you wish that's happening in Jamaica? Let's not put you to health. There's so many things happening right now. Is there anything that's happening on social media you want to comment? you want to say something, but because you're now an MP and you're not named in anything, is there anything you'd want to address that's happened even now, like yesterday, day before, or since the election?
But the one thing I would say is, please, if you're watching, stop sending me the videos of the roaches at KPH. I don't like opening that and seeing roaches while I'm eating or anything. So, just stop sending me the roach videos. I hear there's a cat video too.
A cat video?
A cat at KPH,
I saw sewage.
I don't know.
It's the open sewage at KPH at the front. That's it. Day before.
No, I hear there's a cat video, but people keep sending me the roach video, and I can't comment on it. Just stop sending me the video. Just stop sending me the video, please. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I should laugh, but listen to me. Sometimes I have to tell you, I'm going to go and repent to my God and say, I'm going to restrain myself on social media, because when I see them putting up the roaches, I did see the roach one, I have this tendency to go and almost type, choose justice. And I said, Shelly,
you're like troll baiting. That's what you're doing.
I'm trying to
rage baiting.
No, it's like the ego self want to, because I'm still hurting. But I realize that's not going to help.
You just draw out the trolls.
I'm just drawing out the trolls, but it is so tempting to really play that song. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day,
that's what we chose.
That's what we chose. Yeah. And it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many low-hanging fruits we can fix in health immediately. I think had we won and I was appointed health minister, one of the first things I would have done would have been to get a portable X-ray for the Victoria Jubilee Hospital nursery for the kids. It's because we keep talking about babies dying and we're not doing anything to really improve the care. And one of the simplest things we can do, and it's not going to cost $31 million, get a portable x-ray. So when the babies are sick in the neonatal ICU, bring the x-ray, you get a diagnosis there, start treatment, versus sending them over on a cold corridor to KPH. And if they're not stable enough to be transported, you have to wait until they're stable enough to be transported. And some of them are going to die while waiting to be stable enough. Whereas if you get that x-ray, you could have saved a lot more lives. That's one thing I would have done immediately. And it's not going to cost anything.
So glad I never prepared any questions for you. I just let the Spirit tell me, because this is coming from what you're saying now. Mm-hmm. Do you think being a minister of health should be a doctor of medical background? What's your thoughts on that?
It helps. Mm-hmm. It helps a lot if you know the system. And we speak about my spiritual beliefs and so on. I think that the path that I've been led down has really given me a unique appreciation of the different levels of healthcare as well as other systems. You know, starting from an intern to a resident. I've worked I've run a hospital, which is unusual. You know, I think I was 34 years old when I was in charge of Sav Hospital. That doesn't usually happen until you're way down. And I was the youngest SMO at the time in the island. So I got that experience. I left that. I was involved in building and designing and procuring instruments and practically putting everything together for a private hospital that's supposed to be opening in Portmore. So I was even in China in the factories, you know, understanding the difference.
Procurement and...
Right.
Yes.
So you see that elephant, you see that in a Chinese shop, there's a $1 elephant, a $10 elephant, and a $100 elephant. They all look the same.
Yes.
But you know which one has the inferior grade screws or glue holding it together. And that's what makes the difference.
Yes.
So I think that I've been led down that pathway. So I wouldn't say that absolutely everybody would have that experience. I'm not blowing my own horn.
No, but it's important.
I've been led.
Yes.
It's not my doing. It's not my IQ. It's not my ambition. It's just how life unfolded.
Funny that before my spiritual awakening, I was led to China a couple times. I've been in the factories. I have been like understanding.
So you understand.
Yes.
So you know the cheapness that people buy and sell back here.
Sell back here for your 300, 400, but you don't expect that from government. So government, you see, this is the thing about Jamaica that I noticed, that government officials kind of behave like politicians. The title give them some kind of rock star instead of being a servant leader.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it is a spiritual path, because if you're on a spiritual path and you walk with God inside and you know that you are God and God is you, how do you really run a country talking down or not protecting the interest of the people? It's upside down to me. The way how it is celebrated, and the way how the citizens are going, you're the best, 1 p.m. And I'm not picking on any side, but it seems like it's more an idolization of the politician. Like, nobody understands they work for us.
Yeah.
It's like we pick them, and that's the air that I'm getting from it. And I'm like, you are one of them that is a fresh up. And Mark. I love the aura of Mark, especially in the debates, just even how he said, I'm not better than the security guard, because we're not.
That was peak Mark.
That is the Mark that I want in there. I, as a prime minister, is not better than anyone.
And we're not.
And that's what
We're
something
not.
Jesus would say. Am I right?
It's true.
So if Jesus would say it, and we say we have how much church, why are we per square mile and church everywhere in Jamaica? Church and bars, right?
Yeah.
More than hospital, right? So if that, and we say that we're religious or spiritual, why would we accept this? Like, why would we accept somebody taking a paycheck to work for us, but is hiding? Everything is a secret from us.
Because we're not spiritually awakened enough, and we're satisfied with the crumbs. And the system is set in a particular way that you succeed in politics and the better in politics if you're of a particular mindset where you play ball. And money controls our politics. It's not, as much as we speak negatively about Cuba and it's a one-party system, we make it seem as if having a one-party system is so bad. There are representatives from students, farmers associations, teachers associations, different communities have their own leaders who they send to the Congress, the meeting of the states. So everybody is represented there. Here you don't have that. A party selects someone and they are then funded by special interest groups, businessmen and so on. And the truth is that nobody just gives you money in politics. There are a lot of times strings attached, or they're doing it so they can say, oh, you know, say I may have fund Dawes, or yeah man, me get Dawes some money. It's like sometimes it's
or them give away a beach.
Some people, yeah, or they want something in return.
Yes.
Some people genuinely see something, believe in it, and they want better for the country. But there are a lot of people who spend money in politics to control politicians and to get what they want. And because politics is so, the elections and running the politics is so dependent on money, you have to have a source of money in which to operate. And we have the mentality now where the vote has a dollar value to it. And that is why we saw so much suppression. And yes, they ask for evidence of it. The evidence is out there, but nobody's going to come forward and say, I bought votes.
500. I have it on my page right now. $500, me see them giving away, them vote for.
No, but they use state resources. They gave out cash grants, and then there was voting. They paid people to stay home. They paid PNP people to stay home, workers not to show up, and then they paid labor rights to go out and vote. So voting has become transactional. And when you've done that now, you are surrendering your democratic right to choose a government to the funders of the particular party that wins the election. Yeah. So you have created inadvertently, by your need for immediate gratification, again, the id, you have created an oligarchy where it's just a group of shadowy influencers who can fund the party and fund the politicians, doling out the scarce resources. They are the true leaders in this country right now. And it is a scary place to be in because they have no accountability to an electorate. Portmore.
I know I want to get to Portmore, and I'm enjoying this conversation. What's your plans for your constituency long term for this all?
So we have had to do some readjusting because we're not in power. Obviously, it would have been milk and honey. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But immediately we need to clean the drains. That is a priority for me. We just had flooding again in one area in Edgewater community, and we're still not out of the rainy season yet. And we have major drains that are overgrown with water lilies, mangroves blocking up. And then that is leading to not just the hazard of flooding, but mosquitoes. Portmore mosquitoes not normal.
Which leads to the health.
The health issues again. So that is one of the main priorities. It's not a thing like in Kingston where people are dumping things in the drain. It's vegetation blocking the drain. And that is a clear issue with the MPs working towards it. And it's something that I've been speaking about before. And no, it's not my fault, but no, it is my responsibility. I have to make sure that the drains are sorted out. There are other issues that need to be dealt with, like I want to get more training and more opportunities for the youth. There are a lot of guys out there, them just early in the morning, digging out them hand middle, Ramon, boom. I want to show them that there's another way forward.
By the way, I dig up my hand middle only
Early
for
in the morning.
meditation. Yes, early in the morning, but for meditation, just quick.
Yeah, right. But that's we have to change that mindset. We started with some sports programs, and now we are going to expand them. So we had our football competition, netball rally, and so on. You have to engage the youth.
Yes.
And we want to start doing some homework centers, across the constituency. And one of the things that we want to do is to have a finishing school for the young adults, meaning that they need to learn etiquette, they need to learn deportment, how to speak, how to carry themselves, the importance of time management, and how to write a resume. Simple things like that.
Yes.
So we want to bring in some HR specialists, we want to bring in some influencers like you, who can, teach young girls, that they don't have to settle for anything.
Yes.
They can, and how you carry yourself, people look at you differently because we're still very shallow as humans. So we want to do some of that so that when they show up for their job interview, they will be set aside as exemplary, and they're the ones who are going to get that job.
I will volunteer anytime you need
and
me.
I'll hold you to that.
Yes.
So these are things that we're working with already. The parks, the funding allowed, and this would have been beautiful if we were in government, because then we would have been able to allocate the resources. I want the green spaces to be closer to the people. So we have this big $4 billion resilient park, and it's just one place. But when you look outside your window, you're seeing old cars, you're seeing overgrown shrubbery in the parks because there's just no money there. The municipality's allocation to the councillors is just not enough. So now we're going to move. And what used to happen before was that the MP used to say, oh, I'm only in charge of these roads, in charge of these drains. And the councillors, they would do their own thing. Now we sit as a group, the councillors and myself, and we're like, all right, this is the MP's allocation, but if you need something done, there's no such thing in Southeast as a MP road and councillor road anymore. It's all one Southeast road that need to be patched, drain that need to be cleaned, park that need to be sorted out. And then whenever we get our special works program, we just do everything as a team. My next step, I've started some consultations with the citizens associations and the CDAs, CDC, sorry. We want to get more involvement of the citizens associations. And it's one of the ways where we can draw people out to be more active in their communities, because then
Even against crime.
So I want to be that MP that launches 5 neighborhood watches one time. And that's something that we're going to aim for. My first day on the job, being sworn in Thursday, Friday morning, I woke up to a drive-by shooting, 5 shot, 1 dead.
1 dead, yes.
And that just, in meeting with the police and the citizens at the same time, we agree that, hey, there's going to be heightened police presence. There's going to be a little bit more, maybe restrictions and so on. But the residents easily bought in because they're like, look, short-term pain, long-term gain, because we're going to stop this right here. No more murders. Citizens bought in, but we want to use that now as the impetus to build out the Jamaica Eye, connectivity and the neighborhood watch programs. Right. So the communities have to get more involved. Sometimes you walk in and people say that, oh, I never see you yet. I was like, yeah, but I never see you in church. I never see you at any of the community meetings. I never see you at any of the Labor Day projects. I don't come out.
I them not see you at TikTok because you are all the platforms to reach us. I see you're active. You're very active.
But they want to see on the ground, but then some people just go inside the lockup and that's it, they remain isolated. I want to draw everybody out. Go to the park and socialize, because you have a park that's there with some exercise equipment, outdoor exercise equipment. There's a lot of them in South America and Cuba. I want to bring that to Jamaica. And it's going to start in Southeast. Jogging trails, all of that. You can have your picnic. Go socialize, meet your neighbors. You can't be in a community and you don't know
Don't know
anybody.
who is
leave,
living
leave
beside
that for
you.
uptown. I mean,
Yes.
it took me a while you live uptown long time. But when I moved uptown, it took me a while before I met my neighbor, you know?
Yes.
And that's not how we used to live in the country.
No,
And
I understand that.
But we see that isolationism creeping in, and it's destroying our communities.
We're not caring.
We're not caring.
And it goes back to
The same
thing
third
that we
part of you.
started
Yeah.
is
We
what
have
are
to, so connectivity, connectivity with others, love.
That's where I was going.
Love.
So we're on the same frequency.
We are on that same
And
frequency.
I'm going to wrap up here, and I wanted to say, he said love. And I just wanted to thank you. I could talk to you for hours and hours and
No, man,
hours.
when the camera stop rolling, we'll continue talking.
Yeah. But I wanted to sincerely thank you as a citizen for what you do. I see you as a hero, and not everybody have the bravery or the to actually go against the grain to do what's right. And I just wanted to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the work that you do, and I appreciate you sharing your voice today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I don't like the whole hero moniker because every hero eventually dead.
But I hear it's a nice place. No, forget about that. But yeah,
I wanna live long.
But you know what? I think that we need to start celebrating people more.
Yeah.
And even in the community, I think when we start to say, this person is doing the right thing, let me celebrate them. Maybe it will encourage somebody else to go, all right, why Shelly is gawking at Dawes and I'm over here? Well, lead with the heart.
Yeah.
Be kind. That's what we are celebrating. We're
Be
not
kind.
to be
Be
kind.
kind. We just have to be kind.
We just need to be kind. And I wanted to just end the program with that sentiment, that I think the most important thing is if you lead with your heart, you will be led. You want to finish it?
Go on.
No, you want to finish it? No. You'll be led in the right path.
Right direction. Yeah.
Right direction.
And trust the process that
Trust
you
the process.
are. Once you decided that you're going to let your heart guide you, no matter what the disappointment, if all is not well, it's not the end.
Thank you. Well, I always like to give a closing, and I can tell you that interview with Dr. Dawes have me fascinated and hopeful. I think the word is hopeful, that we will have people leading, and even ourselves, normal people, regular citizens, leading with a moral compass on doing what is right. I think that was the ultimate lesson that I got from this. And I hope you got the same. And I hope we are all going to share love and be a little bit kinder to each other. Please support the movement by like, share, and just press the subscribe button. Namaste.
Let's talk.